Hey, welcome to my weekly Redfin update. I'm just going to bring on some folks from Instagram. But let's get started. Sorry for the delay. All right, some technical problems. But this is my weekly Redfin live update. And you came here because you want to know the latest information in the housing market. And luckily, Redfin produces that every week, uh, usually on Thursdays. And then we go live to find out what the latest trends are in the housing market. And I can tell you there are massive changes. There always are, right? But one of the things we're noticing is that sale prices of homes are actually starting to come down. So home prices are falling and pending sales are tanking. So it's like, the market has been frozen for a while, but now we're seeing, the effects of, the high mortgage rates and high prices. And it didn't seem like prices would ever come down. Now they always start to taper off in the winter and fall, but now they're actually tapering off early, or they're starting to descend earlier, and we're noticing definite price changes nationally. So the plan is we're going to talk national numbers, and then we're going to talk about Columbus, Ohio, because in the Central Ohio market, because that's where I am as a realtor and investor. And then we're going to cover El Paso, Texas. I had somebody ask me about El Paso, Texas, so we're going to talk about El Paso. A viewer wanted that. And then we're also going to look at a few other cities. I've got Houston, Boise, Nashville, New York City, and Chicago to go over. And if you have a metro you want me to go over, let me know in the comments. Even if you're watching this on the recording, let me know in the comments. So we can address that on the next live. But yeah, let's jump right into the data. All right. So the typical home buyer's monthly payment drops to the lowest level in 4 months. So despite the fact that mortgage rates have dropped underneath 7% for the first time in several months, and now housing payments, you'll see it in a second on the chart, are actually a lot lower than they were 4 months ago. A lot lower, right? I mean, they're not a lot lower because they're still so expensive, but they have come down. Despite that, mortgage purchase applications, pending sales, those are all down. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this article and then we'll jump to the data. The typical U.S. home buyer's monthly housing payment was $2,671 during the 4 weeks ending July 21st, the lowest level in 4 months, and down $166 from the record high set back at the end of April. Housing payments are falling because mortgage rates are falling. We know that. Also says buyers have more homes to choose from. New listings are up 6.1%. Now, we'll look at the chart in a second, but 6.1% increase in new listings, folks, is not going to do it. It's not going to do it if you want a big housing correction. If you want to crash, it's nowhere close to getting where we need to go. More listings are growing stale, giving house hunters the opportunity to negotiate. But even though housing payments are declining and inventory is improving, home buyers remain hesitant. Pending home sales are down 5.7% year over year, the biggest decline in nearly 9 months. And mortgage purchase applications are down 15% and down 4% week over week. So, mortgage rates come down under 7%. You think housing or the applications would increase, right? It's like you would think they would, but they didn't. They actually went down and they're getting worse. So are pending sales. Many would-be buyers are still waiting on the sidelines, largely because though mortgage rates are coming down a bit, home sale prices are just shy of the record high. They are down, though, week over week. Additionally, Redfin agents say some house hunters are waiting until the upcoming presidential election to buy because they don't want to make a large purchase in the midst of political or economic uncertainty. So comment below. I want to know. I don't understand this part. Like, you're going to let the presidential election determine if you're going to buy a house or not? I mean, like, if you want to buy a house and it's the right time for you to buy a house, buy it, right? If it's not the right time, don't buy it. If it's not the right deal, don't buy it. But like, the last thing I look at when I analyze deals is the presidential election. I'm kidding. I never look at that. Like, I don't care. That has no impact on me. At least that's my opinion. But I'm curious what you think. Am I nuts or what? A Redfin agent says, I'm working with several buyers who are waiting for the election before they make a move. A Redfin premier agent in northern Colorado said. Some of them say they'll only buy if the candidate wins. That can't be right. Some of them say they'll only buy a home if their candidate wins. What is that? That can't be. That has to be a lie, right? Man, others are waiting because they feel the economy and housing market are shaky and hope it will improve after the election. Okay. All right. So people are waiting for some strange reasons. I would never think that. I would never think somebody would say, if my candidate doesn't win, I'm not buying a house. What if their candidate is like a third party candidate? They'll never buy a house. All right. So we'll review some of the data now. Daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.9%. Near lowest level since February, down from 7.14% 3 weeks earlier. We know that, right? Look at mortgage purchase applications. Look at this. Decreased 4% from a week earlier and down 15% year over year. That's huge. That's huge. That's like, that means people aren't putting applications in, let alone getting approved for houses. And that's kind of the beginning of the home buying process normally, unless you're paying cash. Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index, essentially unchanged from a month earlier. It's still bad, down 16% year over year. Touring activity, the number of people going through houses to see, houses and take a look at them to purchase, that's up 19% from the start of the year, as it should be, because the start of the year was January. Nobody's looking at houses in January. And then at this time last year, it was up 15% from the start of 2023. So I guess it's up 4% year over year, I suppose. Google searches for home up 12% from a month earlier, but down 15% year over year. So people in general looking at homes less than they were last year. No surprise, because buyer demand's crushed. And by the way, cancellations for homes under contract is at an all-time high too. It's 15% right now. And I'll show you that if I have time on this live, but 15% of homes that are homes under contract are being canceled. 15%. It's actually the highest that they've ever recorded from Redfin. They don't talk about it in this article, but cancellations are booming. So people go into contract and then they're like, uh-oh, I didn't know my payment would be that much. I'm out of here. I've had that happen to me as an agent. I've actually had buyers lately, hasn't happened in a few years, but I've had buyers lately say they go into contract, the contract's pending, or it's contingent, right, on a finance and inspection and all that jazz. And like a week later, they call me and go, Jay, I can't buy this house. I can't do it. And they just determined that the payment was too high. The down payment was too high. Something about it spooked them and they're out of here. So we had to cancel it, right? That happens. And it's happening more and more because I think people are going in wanting a home and then they realize how much it costs and they're like, oh no, I'm out. All right. So leading indicators. This is for the top 400 U.S. metros across the United States. Median sale price, $395,500. That's a drop from last week. You'll see that in a minute. It's up 4.4% year over year. It's 1,000 below all-time high set 4 weeks ending July 7th. That was a few weeks ago. Median asking price, $401,000. This is coming down too. So when you look at the amount of you look at the price that people are charging for houses or listing houses for, that's starting to come down. The median is starting to come down. Remember, median is the house in the middle, right? So if you take all the houses on the market, the one in the middle is median. Median monthly mortgage payment. We already know about that, right? It's up 4.6% year over year. That number is dwindling, by the way, how much it's up year over year. And eventually that will be flat or maybe even down compared to last year. That'd be something, right? Mortgage payments less than last year. That'd be crazy. Lowest level since March, $166 below all-time high set during the 4 weeks ending April 28th. Pending sales. This is maybe the biggest stat of them all. 81,000 units in like the in the selling season, in the warm months, right? Down 5.7% year over year. Last year, pending sales were horrible. And as an agent, as a realtor in real estate, who makes a living by helping people buy and sell homes, I can tell you the activity is much lower than it was several years ago. Even before the pandemic, like when I started in real estate, well before the pandemic, activity was much higher than it is now. I think we're on track right now to sell like 3.8 million homes, or 3.8 million transactions. That's like nothing. Like, people didn't think we'd get below 4 million transactions, but we are. So like, the market is just slow. That's the biggest decline in nearly 9 months pending sales. New listings. Now, this is up 6.1% to 92,972. So the spread there is like, what, 11,000 units, right? If you take pending sales and look at new listings, and the delta there is 11,000 units. So when you think about that, it's like, man, it's definitely more. So we've added more new listings than are pending. And remember, 15% of pending transactions of pending sales are being canceled. So what's that? That's like, another 10,000 units or sales are being canceled. So if you take that number out of here, we're down to like 71,000, right? Actually going through. But my point is, on the new listings, when you really look at this number, this is like, this is preventing, I think, big price declines. And I think most housing experts would agree with that. This is preventing more price declines, or big price declines, because it's only up 6.1%, and new listings last year were horrible. We had like nothing coming on the market. And so when you're only adding 6.1% in new listings, thank goodness, because if we were adding like 15, 20% in new listings compared to last year, then you would see a lot more active inventory and probably a lot larger price decreases. Active listings, 985,000 units, 18.7% up year over year. But that's the smallest increase in 3 months. And that's a factor of less new listings. And here's another stat for you. This is unbelievable. If you look at pre-pandemic active inventory and compare that to active inventory now. So if you look at 2019 and look at 2024, we're still 31% below pre-pandemic levels of inventory. So even though we're increasing and now we almost have 1 million active listings, we're still 31% below where we were in 2019. And that, my friends, is driving a lot of what's going on with the prices, how they've kind of continued to be sticky or go up, and they've been very reluctant to drop in value because there's just not a lot of new listings out there and new and active inventory. There's just not a lot to choose from, even though it's improving. It is improving, but not near where we really need it to be a balanced market. Months of supply, 3.6 months of supply. That's basically how many houses are available to purchase right now, divided by the rate of sales monthly over the past 12 months. So if you take, for instance, you have 100 houses available to buy right now. There's 100 on the market for buyers to look at, and then you're selling an average of 50 a month. Then that's 2 months of supply. If you're selling 25 a month, that's 4 months of supply, right? 100 divided by 50 or 100 divided by 25. So months of supply, 3.6 means if we didn't add any new listings at all, and we kept the current pace of home sales right now, the inventory would last 3.6 months. So that's up 0.7 points. Theoretically, you don't get to a buyer's market until you hit 6 months. When you're under 4 months of supply, theoretically, that's a balanced market. That's what a lot of housing experts talk about. Now, I heard somebody yesterday say 4 months of supply is actually a buyer's market. I don't know. I mean, in certain markets, it's probably a buyer's market. It's not where I am in Ohio at all. But I'm curious what you think. Do you think 4 months of supply is a buyer's market? Or Better question, is it a buyer's market where you live right now? In other words, are buyers in control? Are buyers able to go in and say, you're asking 100, well, not 100 grand. Nobody pays 100 grand for a house anymore. You're asking 500 grand for the house. We're going to give you 450. You know, those types of offers were like unheard of the last few years. In fact, I heard an agent from Seattle say that they're starting to get a lot of disrespectful offers where the offer could be like 20% under asking, right? And some of them are getting the deal. I mean, there's some negotiating, but share of homes off the market in 2 weeks. Big decrease here, 38%, means homes are sitting longer. You'll see that in a minute in more data. Median days on the market, 33 days. That's up 5 days. 5 days. That's a big increase year over year. Share of homes sold above list price, 31%, down from 36. So people aren't paying as much for homes. Sellers are starting to hopefully realize, I can't price this to the moon. You got to price it so it moves and it's competitive at least. Share of homes with a price drop, 6.7%. That's up 1.8 points. That's the highest level on record. A lot of price cuts out there, folks. A lot of price cuts. Average sale to list price ratio, 99.5. So people aren't paying over current list price anymore. That used to be over 100%. People were paying over 100% of the list price. All right. Metro level highlights. So they take the top 50 metros in the US, then they analyze those and give us the winners and losers. So median sale price. Where is median sale price increasing the most? Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, 15% increase. Providence, Rhode Island, 14%. New Brunswick, New Jersey, 13%. Newark, New Jersey, 13% increase. And Milwaukee, 12.4%. Do you notice anything with those cities? I do. They're all in the East. I mean, Milwaukee, maybe the Midwest, I guess. You can consider that the Midwest. But the first four are really, I would think, in the East. And so I think you're seeing that more and more. The East Coast cities, the Midwest cities are more resilient with the housing market than the, hot spots like Austin and, San Antonio and Boise and stuff like that. This is the strange part, though. Look, the median sale price actually declined in only 2 metros. So if it declined in 2 metros, but it dropped overall for the nation for median sale price, that means I would think that means the growth of the median sale price overall is shrinking when it comes to metros, right? So like Columbus, for instance, we were up like 7, 8, 9, 10 double digits consistently week after week for a while, but now we're only up like 3%. And so that combined with all the other metros doing the same thing tapers down the overall median sale price, but the median price only declined in 2 metros, Austin and Dallas. That's it. Eventually, I think more metros will make that list. We'll see. Pending sales, houses going into contract. Biggest increases in pending sales: Newark, New Jersey, San Jose, California, Boston, Cincinnati, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Columbus. That's where pending sales increased the most. So look at this. 0.5% increase in pending sales allowed Columbus to make the winners list in pending sales. So that's not very good, right? I mean, if you're only up 0.5% and pending sales have been in the toilet and you make the top list, man. Houston, Minneapolis, West Palm Beach, Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Atlanta, ATL, all down the most in pending sales. Look at Houston, down 28% in pending sales. Man, that's crazy, right? I mean, that's like carnage in the real estate market, I bet, compared to last year, right? You got to have agents dropping like flies. Probably a good thing. We need less, probably, better agents overall. But I don't think we need more agents necessarily. A lot of part-time agents too out there. Increased in 7 metros. So pending sales only increased in 7 metros. That are these. I mean, these are the only metros on the left-hand side here. Newark, San Jose, Boston, Cincinnati, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Columbus. Those are the only areas where pending sales actually increased. So, yeah, sales are slow. New listings, Where are they increasing the most? San Jose, California, 25.8. Las Vegas, 20%. Miami, 17%. Phoenix, 16%. Jacksonville, 16%. That's where new listings, houses that are hitting the market, that's where they are increasing the most. Atlanta, Houston, Detroit, Chicago, Warren, Michigan, all declined. And actually new listings declined in only 8 metros out of the top 50. So they did go up in 42 of the top 50 metros, right? All right, time for the charts. Chart. So this is median sale price, and you can see it go, it obviously went up, skyrocketed up, but now it's starting to taper off and go down slightly. So we're down a few $1,000 from, I think, the all-time, or down $1,000 from the all-time high. But I know it hit like near 400. I think it was like 399 at one point. But in any case, I think a lot of people are expecting this line here to go all the way down, right? And end up down here somewhere underneath 2023, 2022, 2021. We'll find out. I mean, there are people I know on YouTube that are predicting that it goes down to that level. I think it'll end up between 3 and 5% nationally. That's what I called at the beginning of the year. I think it's just going to be a 3 to 5%, normal increase, nothing crazy. But it could drop below last year. Time will tell. All right. Median asking price up 4.9% year over year. But look at this. It's gone down significantly. So you can see median asking price shoot up at the beginning of 2024. Then it kind of started, it was still going up, it was started to taper off. And then if you look at the median sale price, now look at that, right? It obviously went up consistently for the last few months, and now it's starting to taper off. It obviously follows asking price. So as asking price continues to decline, you would think that the sale price may start to decline along with it. Home buyer housing payments up 4.6% year over year. That's starting to get close to last year. I mean, if rates drop, and you tell me, comment, I want to know, and I'll check the comments here in a few minutes. Do you think the housing payments, the average home buyer housing payment will go below last year? It's going to take a combination of prices going down and rates. So people say, I've heard a lot of folks say that 6.5% is like the magic number. I've heard others say 6% is the magic number, meaning if rates come underneath 6.5, it'll unlock demand. If rates come underneath 6%, it'll unlock demand. But what do you think? I'm curious. And specifically, if you think it'll go below 2023. Pending sales. And this is just a dumpster fire, right? I mean, this is horrible if you're an agent or in the business. Down 5.7% year over year. Can it get worse? It probably will as winter goes on. I mean, the second half of 2024 is going to be like, I bet most agents are asking for like listings in their Christmas stocking. New listings of homes. This is a problem. This will show its ugly head coming up because active listings will stall. The growth of active listings will stall unless buyer demand tanks exponentially, which it could, but new listings are not impressing right now. They're just not doing what we needed to do to get a balanced housing market. It's just not. And again, it's a very strange housing market, obviously, right now. This is close to going over or going under 2023 for new listings. And if it keeps going, it's it could, it's obviously already under 2022 and 2021. And it's not really improving. Active listings of homes for sale, 19% year over year up. But look at the active listings. So you can see, let's look at the new listings look at the new listings back a few months ago. You can see how it leveled off, right? It wasn't skyrocketing anymore. And then what happens to active listings? Flat or down, because you got to have new listings to add active listings. I think there are people that are listing their home because they need to, but I think the people that want to list their home, most of those people are waiting. They're waiting for, rates to come down or even prices to come down so they can afford to move to that next house. It's not that they can't afford to sell. They can't afford to buy the next house. About 70% of people who sell a house buy a new one. And if they're not buying, they're going to rent something, right? So, by the way, that's a great reason to own rental properties or flip houses, because one of those is going to work, right? One of them, you're either a landlord and people are moving in because they don't want to buy a house, or you're flipping houses and selling to people who do want a house. So, landlord wins. All right. 3.6 months of supply. This is starting to go up a little bit, but a lot of this is constrained, or this is a factor of the fact that demand is so bad. But if if new listings were a lot higher, if active listings were a lot higher, this 3.6 could be like 5 or 4.5. And by the way, I looked this up, back in 2012, when the housing market was in the toilet, right? Months of supply was 7.5. We had 7.5 months of supply. Before the pandemic, we had like 4 months of supply, if I remember right, before the pandemic. So we're starting again to get near pre-pandemic levels, but a lot of this inventory is inventory that's growing stale because nobody wants it. It's either destroyed, it's in a bad area, it's priced way too high, those type of things. So I think that's why you're seeing months of supply increase, but in reality, there's still not a lot of inventory to choose from in most markets. All right. 38% of pending sales under contract within 2 weeks. Horrible, right? Pending sales are bad, and 38% are under contract in 2 weeks. So much less than the previous 3 years. Now sellers are starting to get the idea that, hey, I can't price my house up to the moon and I can't put it on the market on Monday and expect it to sell on Tuesday. It still happens, especially for affordable move-in ready houses, FHA ready, VA ready, that type of stuff. Those houses are moving still. I know because I'm representing buyers who are out there looking for them. So those do move. It's the houses that are maybe occupied by a tenant and need some help, right? A new roof, windows, they won't pass FHA maybe. Maybe they need a heating system. Maybe they need like all cosmetic rehabs. They're outdated, right? That's definitely happening. So less houses going under contract quickly. Homes sold in a median of 33 days. That's up significantly from last year and the year before and the year before that. So homes are just taking longer to sell. 31% of homes sold above final list price. So that's not original list. That's final list price. If you looked at original list price, it'd be a lot worse, right? So this basically says, hey, there's 31% of the homes that are selling above what the person's asking for the house right now. Not the original asking price, but the current list price of when they actually put the offer in. So that's probably a good thing. We don't want more houses selling above list price because that just encourages sellers to keep raising prices. And that's not healthy for anybody. It's nice to have a balanced market where, you can look around, kick the tires, poke around a little bit at some houses, maybe even see one twice. Can you do that now? Probably can. Before, a few years ago, couldn't do that. You'd be like, I have to see this house on a Monday night. And if I don't make an offer on Monday night, it's gone. Well, now you can see it on Monday, maybe see it on Tuesday, maybe even see it on the weekend. That's a good thing. 6.7% of listings had price drops. Look at that. Just straight up. This isn't stopping. This is like just growing and growing and growing. I think a lot of people have rose-colored glasses on when they list houses. That's just in general, right? If it's your house, you think it's the best on the block, no matter what's going on. So I think that sellers are starting to realize, hopefully, that, hey, I gotta have to, come correct. Otherwise, I'm going to sit on the market. Average home sold for 99.5% of final list price, no longer 100%, and this is going down. Look back in 2022, always amazes me. We were over 102% for the average home. Now, this is a pretty big drop, right? What's that, a 3% drop? That's big on a $500,000 house. Great. All right. Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index. Down in the toilet. We know that. No surprise. This has actually been going down the entire year. Well, it hasn't been going down, but it's been bad the entire year and hasn't been above 2023, 2022, or 2021 at all. It's just been horrible. Will it be bad next year? Worse than this? It could be. It very well could be. Man, if rates stay high for some reason, could definitely be that. Could definitely be worse than last year. I'm sorry, worse than this year. Yeah, buyer demand is not good. All right, so that is a overview of the national data. Now let's jump to some. Oh, before we do that, I'm just going to show you this real quick, and let me check any comments. I got comments. Smoke screen. So let me do this. I always forget to check comments. Hello. Hey, thanks for joining me, Smoke Screen. All right, now let's see what he said, or they said. I've been looking for 2 years. I just couldn't compete with those who waived all inspections and came in way over ask. It's been crazy in Northwest Ohio. Oh, cool, in Northwest Ohio. Still overvalued, in my opinion. Yeah, I see Toledo on a lot of like top lists. Is that where you are? I assume you're like in the Toledo area. That's just an assumption. But thanks for the comment. And you're right. It is demoralizing, even as an agent and somebody who buys properties. I buy rental properties and stuff, and sell properties on my own and all that jazz. It's demoralizing when you're out there with a customer and a client and somebody you've been working with for a year. I mean, there's some buyers I've been working with for like 2 years. So this is absolutely accurate. And then they waive all the inspections. They come in way over asking price, and you're like, really? Like, really? And your client, your poor client, wants the house. Like, they're like, I've been looking for 2 years. And part of them, I think, wants to go over asking and win the house. But I think, thankfully, most buyers now, and I think I do a pretty good job of explaining to them that you don't need to, if you have to have the house, that's one thing. But there are other houses out there, and there will be other houses. So make an offer that makes sense for you. Don't overbid it or go over your skis just because you want the house and want to win. So I get that, Smoke Screen. Thanks for the comment. All right, so let's do this article because this is pretty crazy. All right, so this article is called Cold Feet Buyers Backed Out of Deals at Record High Rate in June as Prices Hit All-Time High. I'm not going to read the article or go into much of the data, except this part right here. About 56,000 home purchases were canceled, equal to 15% of homes that went under contract, the highest percentage of any June on record. Buyers are skittish due to elevated mortgage rates and record high home prices. So that's what I was mentioning earlier. Buyers are canceling their deals at a record rate. What's this say? 20% of homes for sale last month had a price cut, the highest June share on record. Many sellers are dropping prices because their homes are sitting on the market, causing listings to pile up. Active listings posted their biggest annual gain on record. Now, this is a monthly data, not weekly data. We were just looking at weekly data. I should explain that. And this is monthly data. So they're saying that active listings posted their biggest annual gain on record. That's because it was a monthly number, probably annualized, it sounds like. But yeah, there are more active listings, and 20% of homes for sale had price cuts. People are cutting prices. They are. But like Smokescreen said, not near enough. He thinks or I don't know if it's he or she, but they think it's overvalued. They absolutely think it's overvalued. Smokescreen thinks, hey, even in Ohio, Northwest Ohio, which is by all accounts an affordable market, right? I mean, it is. I mean, it's going to be an affordable market compared to like, I don't know, Florida or Chicago or Seattle or California even, right? Or Texas. It's going to be an affordable market, and Smokescreen still thinks that prices are too high, homes are overvalued. They probably are. There's no doubt they probably are. All right, now we're going to go to our chart to look up different metros. And you can do this anytime you want. You can go to Redfin, take a look at this. They have a ton of inventory they don't show on these charts. I mean, you can get really in the weeds with it. If you're a data nerd like me, it's fun to do. But in any case, we're going to start with Columbus, Ohio. That's where I am as a realtor and investor. And we'll start with new listings. And then we're going to hit El Paso, Texas. We're going to hit Houston, Boise, Nashville, New York City, and Chicago as well, as a reminder. All right. New listings, Columbus. You can go to Metro here, or you can even go to county level. So new listings here in Columbus, we're up 4% year over year. Only up 4%. Nationally up 6.5. Columbus up 4.1. You can see the slide. It's not a trajectory upwards. And I agree, new listings are pathetic right now. Just not a lot on the market at all, especially affordable housing. Affordable inventory is like nil. I don't know if it's like that where you are, but where I am, it is. That's for sure. All right, let's do active listings. Active listings up 15% year over year. That's good. We need more active listings. It's still not near enough. New listings are bad. So my guess is a lot of the active listing growth is driven by pending sales. So we'll go to pending sales. Can't even really zoom in on that one. 0.5% up year over year pending sales. So we're not down. That's good, kind of. But we're basically where we were last year, right? Not great. And I think that's why you're seeing active listings rise, because it's not from new listings. It's from the lack of pending sales and the lack of good listings. And so active listings overall are going up. Let's look at months of supply. 10.5 weeks of supply, which is basically what? That's 2 months of supply. They do it in weeks. You have to divide by 4, but like little over 2 months of supply right now. Still a seller's market. Still a seller's market here in Central Ohio. Overall. Let's look at new median sale price. Median sale price for Columbus, Ohio. This came down a little bit week over week, $347,000. We were at $354,000, I think, at the peak. Did I get it? Yeah, $354,000 at the peak. Now we're at $347,000 for the median sale price in Columbus, Ohio. That's an increase of 3% year over year. I'm surprised. I thought this would keep going up. Maybe it will change trajectory, but right now it is headed down. It kind of mirrors last year. Look at that, almost exactly. So I think, I thought Columbus would end up 5 to 10% up year over year. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Okay. Now let's do median days on market in Columbus. 36 days, median days on market. That's up 1.5 days. We were up like 5 or 6 days, if I remember right, nationally. So 36 days, is that a long time to sell a house? I mean, I think it's normal. It looks a month of time on the market, to me, that's normal. Again, I think it's bad inventory though right now. I don't see move-in ready FHA homes sitting on the market and nobody buying them. I don't see that. I see homes overpriced sitting on the market, or really expensive homes sitting on the market. All right, let's do El Paso now. So that's Columbus. I had a viewer ask about El Paso, Texas. Never looked at this before, so this will be interesting. I want to start with new listings in El Paso. Up 4.2% year over year. But it's actually come down. Look where it was. Let me take out 24. Let me take out, what's that, 21 and 22. Yeah, look at the orange line. Well, I'll just take out 23 too. Look at this. New listings, I mean, they started low, went up in El Paso, but now they're starting to go down. Again, I think a lot of people are like, I'm not going to sell my 3% rate house, the house I have a 3% rate on, and I bought 10 years ago at 200 grand. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to buy a bigger house with a 6.5% interest rate or 6.7% interest rate. I mean, obviously, right? Why most people aren't going to do that. So they're not selling their $200,000 house that a first-time home buyer needs. And so that inventory is not hitting the market. And there's nothing people can do about that. Like, that frustrates a lot of people, I think, especially on YouTube. Like, they're scratching their head like, why won't inventory grow? Why won't prices crash? And you're like, because consumers, I know a lot of people think consumers are stupid, but when it's your house, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not going to spend double the payment. That's nuts. And you're right, it probably is. Okay, so that is new listings. Let's do active inventory for El Paso, Texas. Yeah. So you saw new listings start to tank a few months ago in El Paso. Now look at active listings. They're starting to head down now, and they're not skyrocketing upwards. It's only up 15% year over year. That's not going to cut it when you're way below pre-pandemic. El Paso maybe isn't. I'll have to check it. I don't know that one off the top of my head as far as pre-pandemic, but this only goes back to 2021. But active inventory, it's just not growing like you would think it would this time of year in El Paso. All right, let's look at months of supply. 15.9 weeks of supply, almost 4 months of supply. So it's almost a balanced market. Up 3.4 weeks year over year. Definitely more than the last few years. But it's not going up anymore. It's starting to taper off. Look how it mirrors itself, 2023 and 2024. Look at that. At the beginning of the year. Almost exactly. Like there's some event that happens in El Paso right at that time that changes things. I don't know. Interesting. All right. Now let's do median sale price. $265,000 for El Paso, Texas. Median sale price up 3% year over year. Kind of like Columbus, right? You've been pretty steady all year. I mean, you have gone down, but then you went back up. Now you're dropping again. Now you're going back up. So where'd you start the year? 262. Now you're at 265. So not only up $3,000 for the year. Let's look at median days on market. 34 days on market median. That's the last stat we'll look at for El Paso. That's up 6.3 days. So yeah, that has increased in the last few weeks. It came down a lot. Like look back in the winter. It was at 45 days. No surprise, right? Then as spring selling season came along, it dropped significantly. Now it's going back up. But it's definitely more than the last few years. Homes are sitting longer on the market. So if I'm in El Paso, Texas, I create what you call a buy box, which is your exact or your hypothetical probably house that you want. Do you want a 2-bedroom? Do you want a 3-bedroom? Do you want a 4-bedroom? 1 bath, 2 baths? You want a basement? Do they have basements in El Paso? I don't know if they do. They do in Columbus, but you want a yard? Do you want a garage? What are you looking for? And then I'd build that buy box. I would go, you can get on Zillow.com. You can also use a realtor if you want. You're in Texas, so you may have to use a realtor. And I would have them pull those parameters in the exact area you want to buy. And I would have them send you those listings every week. And every week I would go in and look at the listings and track the ones that sit longest. And anything that goes over this number, we're at 34 days is median. Anytime you went over 34 days, I would highlight that property and I would, if you're in the mode of buying, that is, and I would make an offer that made sense to you. And that could be disrespectful, but not I'm not saying go in at list price. I'm saying if it goes over 34 days and it fits your buy box and they're asking 265 grand, go in at 220, go in at $220,000 and see what happens. Go in at 210, go in at 230, whatever works for you, right? Heck, go in and ask for seller financing. You know, go in and tell them, I'll give you 265, but I want a 3.5% interest rate. And here are my loan terms. This is what I want. Now the person has to probably be free and clear of the house, but especially if it goes over 60 days, like if you're at 34 days on market median, go over 60 days, then you're like sending offers that say, hey, I want seller financing. I want a discount. You're going to pay the closing cost. You know, make offers. Get in the habit of doing that, folks. If you really want to buy a house, don't make like one offer a year or one offer every 2 months. That's not going to work. All right. That's El Paso. Let's do Houston next. And comment below if you want me to review another one. I can change this, but I did have somebody ask. People always ask for Houston, it seems like. We're going to do new listings in Houston. Check the comments. Oh, Coors Light. I'll check the comments real quick. Give me move-in ready house any day of the week. I don't need a house missing the front door. Well, thanks, Coors Light. What's funny is after this, like right after this, I have to go, I'm going to go look at a house to buy and maybe flip. And I don't think it has a front door. I'll take a video of it. Maybe I can do a YouTube video about it, but I don't think it has a front door. I think when I drove by it, it was missing a front door. I mean, it had weeds growing all over it, like vines, right? All over it. And so, I may have to, cut those out or navigate through those. I don't want to get poison ivy, but yeah, I agree. You don't want a house with no front door, but that's never good. Okay, let's go back to our charts. All right, Houston, Texas. New listings in Houston, Texas. Down 10.5%. Can that be right? That's right. Wow. I really want somebody from Houston, Texas to tell me about this. If you happen to know, if you just happen to know a YouTuber who's from Houston, who always thinks prices are going to crash, ask them about this new listing thing, because new listings are dropping like flies in Houston. I mean, you're down compared to the last 3 years. 3 years, right? You're at a 4-year low of new listings. That's not going to help inventory, is it? Let's find out. Nope, it's not. Active listings now are still up 19% year over year, but look, it's starting to head down. Why? Because new listings are down. And that's an easy metric, by the way. You can track yourself in your housing market. Look at your buy box. Look at where you want to buy a house or a duplex or invest in real estate, whatever, and say, all right, are there new listings growing? Are active listings growing? In most locations, you can use Zillow to do that. You don't need a realtor to do it. You can do it yourself. So, and if new listings are dropping, unless demand drops along with it, you are going to see a drop in active listings. It's just how it works. All right, that's active listings. We did new listings. Let's make this quick. We'll do, because I got to go look at that house. Could be another flip. Could be a flip. Could be a rental, but could be a flip. All right, let's do, so median sale price in Houston, Texas, $354,000. That's where Columbus was a few weeks ago. That's up 4% year over year. So again, if you happen to know somebody who lives in Houston who's on YouTube, ask them about this. They may tell you the data is corrupted, but they don't tell you that when the data is in their favor. So median sale price is up 4%, Houston, Texas. There you go. All right, let's do, what's next? Boise. A lot of people ask about Boise. Boise is a nice city. New listings down 9.7% year over year. 4-year low of new listings in Boise. 4-year low. Wow. Okay. Active listings, Boise, Idaho. What do we got? No surprise. Down 10.87% in active listings in Boise. Wow. I'm shocked. I thought active inventory would be higher. It's not. It's not. Let's do median sale price for Boise. 1.13% up year over year, but it's headed down, no doubt. Let's look at months of supply and see what that's doing. Down 2.3 weeks year over year, 10.3 weeks of supply right now, which is still a seller's market. You're under 3 months of supply. It's a seller's market. Again, usually anything under 4 months is a seller's market. But months of supply is not it's not rocketing upwards. Pending sales must be horrible there. Let me find it real quick. Pending sales. Pending sales for Boise, Idaho. Yeah, only up 1.1%. So homes are sitting on the market. They are. And that's keeping active. That's keeping probably keeping the median sale price from exploding because there is no inventory, it looks like. I don't know. If you know somebody from Boise, let me know, but let me know what's going on to, comment. I'd love to know if there are a lot of houses sitting on the market in Boise. Huh. Okay. Nashville is next. Nashville, Tennessee. Pending sales in Nashville, Tennessee, down 5.8%. Obviously, just like the country or just like the U.S. and national numbers, definitely down. No surprise. All right, new listings. Only up 13% year over year. You can see this is tapered off as well. A lot of these areas are tapering off with new listings. That's going to hurt active inventory. So let's look at active inventory. Yeah, it's starting to level off, right? It's only up 12% year over year. I think a lot of people wanted Nashville to crash so bad. I think a lot of people, for some reason, had it like on their targeted list of like epic failures of real estate. But I'm not seeing it right now as far as inventory goes. Let's look at median sale price. Median sale price up 1.9% to $488,000. You started the year, by the way, at $457,000. And now you're at $488,000. So you've gained about $30,000 in equity. That's for Nashville, Tennessee. No crash there. It's going down like it has the other years, and I probably suspect it does in the late summer, and as fall goes on, it'll go down. That's just kind of cyclical seasonality. All right, next is New York City. New York City. Got a half brother who lives in New York City. What's up, Kerry? He's actually a journalist out there. All right. Oh, I messed this up. Let me go back to Nashville. My fault, folks. I messed this up. I looked at new listing median sale price, not median sale price. My fault. Let me look at this now. I want to get this right. Now look, it's going, okay, you're at 458,000. You started at 449. So you're only up $10,000. Only up 10,000 bucks in reality. In Nashville, that's a correction. My bad. I had the wrong metric up there. So you are up $10,000, but the price is definitely declining. There's no doubt it is. Only up 1% year over year. Apologies on that. Okay, let's go back to New York. We'll just start with median sale price. We're already here. $765,000 for New York, New York. Can you really buy a house in New York City for 765 grand? That seems cheap to me. I don't know. Is that for a parking spot? Look where they started, 703. Now they're at 765. Yikes. Up 6% year over year. So if you're up 6% in New York City, then you look at an area like Nashville, you're only up 1%. Yeah, those are balancing out to 4%, right? For the national number. All right, let's do new listings in New York City. Up 10% year over year. There is an increase there, but it's not near enough. And I'm guessing active listings are bad. Yeah, now active listings are down 5.63% year over year. Wow. That's probably why prices are continue to go up. All right, last one. Unless somebody else has something to suggest, an area, I'm happy to do it. So let me know. Chicago, Illinois. We'll do new listings first. I like to start with that if possible. All right, new listings. Down 3.1% year over year in Chicago. I mean, again, you're not going to sell. You're not going to have a crash when there's new listings are gone. It's not going to happen. There's no houses to crash. There's no crash to be had. It's like, got to have a supply and inventory to crash. People don't like hearing that for some reason. I don't know why. This isn't like, it's not a competition of data. It's not like, don't want to take it personally. It's just facts. You just look at the facts and adjust your strategy, right? But some people get really angry about the fact that there hasn't been a housing market crash. Active listings. Homes for sale in Chicago, down 10.97%. Again, hard to have a price correction when there's no inventory. Jeez. Man, it's got to be rough there, buying a house. I thought it was bad in Columbus. Good grief. All right, let's do months of supply. Not much going on there. It's level. It's down 0.6 weeks year over year. 12.1 weeks of supply, which is right at 3 months. Still a seller's market. It's still a seller's market in Chicago. All right, finally, let's look at median sale price. $366,000 for median sale price. That's up 7% year over year. And they started the year at 306. So now they're at 366. So they're up 60 grand. Can you really buy a house in Chicago for $300,000, $366,000? Look at this, way back when. Look at 2021. The median sale price in Chicago was $265,000. That's Chicago metro area. Wow. I thought it'd be a lot more expensive. Like I thought it'd be like 500 grand easy. So imagine that. Back in 2021, you could have bought a house in Chicago at 265 grand. Now that same house cost you 366. Hence why the housing market's so unaffordable. Man, it's starting to taper off a little, but a lot of that's seasonality. You can see that right here, right? A lot of it's seasonality. Every year it does the same thing. Wow. Let's look one more thing here. Pending sales. Pending sales down 3.8%. So they're just selling less houses, less inventory, less new listings. And prices are still elevated. And the prices are sticky because there's not a lot of transactions to move the price. And there's not a lot of transactions because there's not a lot of new listings and there's not a lot of active inventory. Same old story. Wow. Okay. Okay, we got, let me pull up another comment here. I've seen a few of those. Oh, houses with no front door. Right. Right. Yep, I have too. Hey, it's like free air conditioning, right? You just leave it open. You don't have to worry about opening the door for people. Pretty convenient. That's awesome. Okay, so more of the story is sellers are probably too aggressive with their pricing. They have been. They're starting to maybe get the memo. They need to drop the prices. There are a lot of price cuts because of that. Homes that are not move-in ready and are not dialed in and are not priced well are probably sitting on the market, and then they're going to get price cuts. Pending sales and buyer demand is way down, and if it wasn't for that, we would be in a much worse situation when it comes to home prices. And mortgage purchase applications is another sign that buyer demand is down. So that's the moral of the story. So what does this all mean this week if you're a buyer, seller, or investor? Well, if you're a seller, you got to price that house right out of the gate. If you want to sell it, you have to price it correctly. Don't get greedy. Price it so that people will come and see it. That's the idea, and put it in contract. If your neighbor's house sold at $400,000 in 2021 or 2022, doesn't mean you can sell yours at $420. You may have to sell it at $399. That's just how life works, right? So if you're a seller, do that. Make sure your marketing's dialed in. Your agent's doing the marketing for you. Or if you're selling it on your own, do the marketing. Don't skimp on the pictures. Take great pictures of it. You can do that with your iPhone, or you hire a photographer or whatever. So dial in the marketing, dial in the price, make sure the outside's cleaned up, it's decluttered. Nothing's worse than clutter in a listing. It just ruins the listing. So, and without even doing any painting or any upgrades or any fixes, make sure it's decluttered inside, outside. Good lighting. Make sure all the light bulbs work. You don't even have to put light fixtures in if you don't want to, but make sure all the light bulbs work. Be shocked how many times you go into a house and the light bulbs don't work. And don't get the cheap light bulbs that the generations before us used. Get like new LED light bulbs. They're not that expensive. So yeah, if you're a seller, those things are what you need to do and watch out for. The other thing as seller, be prepared that the house isn't going to sell immediately. Plan for that. Don't plan that you're going to put it in contract in, 2 days. Plan that it may take a month. As a buyer, don't give up and get your buy box dialed in and make offers that work for you. Like Smokescreen said on here, don't worry about offers that are not, that are overpriced, right? Don't go over your skis on pricing. So you have to be one of those 15% that cancel your contract. Make an offer that makes sense for you and keep looking at houses. Continue to look. And the other thing I would say about buyers is don't be afraid to market to find a house yourself. Meaning if you're working with a realtor and you're looking at their listings every day, or you're looking on Zillow or realtor.com, whatever, and you're like, yeah, I've looked at these houses already this week. Oh, well, forget that monkey business. Go out, drive the streets you want to buy in, write down the addresses of houses that look like maybe they need some repairs, right? Like a missing door. And then write that guy a letter. Write the owner a letter and say, hey, I'm interested in buying your house. I live in the area. Here's my number. And then when they call, answer. But if you send enough of those letters, you will have somebody call you. And that is a great way to find off-market deals. That's how I found the deal, or the potential deal I'm going to right after this. I drove the streets and wrote addresses down and sent them letters. Then they call me. That's how it works, right? Not rocket science there. But don't give up. And if you're an investor, I would do all those things the buyers are doing. And I would not count on rental appreciation. If you're, a buy and hold investor, double check your property tax potential increase. That will kill your deal, no doubt. Double check your insurance rates on rentals, because a lot of insurance companies are dropping older homes and older properties. So check that as well. I mean, non-owner occupied older properties. So double check that, and only do great deals. Only do amazing deals. Don't do good deals if you're an investor. Do great deals only. And that may only be one deal this year, but oh well, at least it's a great deal. I'll take one great deal over 3 deals that don't make you any money, obviously, right? Anyway, thanks for joining me on the Redfin. We went 1 hour, 4 minutes. Thank you for the participation. Smokescreen, Coors Light. I appreciate you. Have a good day. We'll see you next week. Peace.